Hello, Mgtows. Hello, man. I love that. I love that repeat that I get. Let me get this. So I got a good sound check. Hello, Mgtows. Hello, man. What's up, Aware Rabbit? So I'm going topicless today. Topicless. I feel so dirty. I feel so dirty. I'm going topicless. I woke up this morning with a headache, so I couldn't do the nooner. And I apologize to you guys. I told you lately I've been having headaches and stuff, and it hampers my ability to do this. It's just not easy to do this with headaches. So I have the right to go topicless. Yeah. So dirty old Mgtow. Yeah, I'm a dirty old Mgtow. That's something I hear around Mgtow a lot. Dirty old Mgtow, you Joe. Every time they want to attack me, it's Joe, you're just a dirty old Mgtow. And I internalize that. That's one of those things. Let's do this first. Let's go. Hello, Mgtows. Hello, man. Welcome to the Church of Mgtow. All your simp sins are forgiven from the past. Go your own way. Go your own way. That's the important part. Go your own way. Go your own way, Mgtows. Doesn't that just make you feel better when I do that? It just go your own. All your sins are forgiven. I don't care. Mgtow doesn't care either. All your simp sins are forgiven. Go your own way, Mgtows. By the power in me. Take them all away. So we were talking about dirty old Mgtow and some of the things that get said to me, and then I look around and I see a lot of young men, a lot of young Mgtows in there, and what I see a lot is parental alienation. A lot of the young Mgtows didn't have their fathers around. And I understand that one, man. I was one of those fathers that couldn't go around my children, that I spent 2-3 years between visits, and it break my heart. And I watched my kids grow into something that I couldn't identify as something that belonged to me, ideologies that belonged to me. I watched my kids grow up. Some of them very good. Some of them took from the negative and become superstars, and some of them were, just regular kids, and they work now, and they carry a good work ethic. And then I watch, my youngest, not my youngest boy, but my one boy go through horrors in life that I could have protected him against, and it breaks my heart. And as an old man and those things, them are the things I think about in life. I think about my failures. I think about Mgtow here. I think about that lying, dirty old man when I go to my analytics and I see that I'm almost vacant of any people listening to me from 25 to 17. It's such a minute sliver of people that do listen to me, and I think, wow, that's pretty interesting. I hear from the young men that they're alienated from their fathers and they need mentor figures. I hear from the young men that they're mad about that. They're angry about that. They wanted something. They wanted their fathers to teach them something. They wanted those men that were in those positions, and all they got is replacement fathers that wanted to, F the mom. And man, that's one of the horrors of life that I cannot imagine. Nobody ever can. My mother ran off with a man, ran off to California and left us with a hippie sister, and she took care of us, and she's a good sister, and she did a great job on that. I always thought I loved my sister for that. For those meals she made me, and the replacement of my mother. My father spent 16, 20 hours a week, every day, trying to, raise this family of 9 children. And mom ran off to California with the exterminator. And that was my cross to bear. And I know when young men come in here, they have their cross to bear too. What was their mother? Did she lock you in the bathroom when she went out? Did she throw you some ho-hos that were picked out of the garbage? Did she spend all the money on, did she spend all the child support money on other things like most women do, purses and boyfriends and that sort of stuff? Probably. Uh, when the children get removed from us, we can no longer do that thing where we can protect them. And then I look at the strange anomaly that I see in Mgtow. There's a strange anomaly between old Mgtows and young Mgtows. And the young Mgtows, there's a lot of ageism in this thing. And they don't look to us for any sort of advice. They don't come around. I often surf around and listen to the young kids, and I giggle, and I'm old, and some of the things sound a little, they sound a little different to me than they would sound. But I often stop by and say hello, and hey, what's up? I try to be a little bit cool. I don't know if that's possible at my age to be cool anymore. Sometimes I'm cranky and sometimes I'm not, and I know that gets a little old. But the ageism. We seem to have a couple of generations here in Mgtow now. It was a unique, weird time right after the boomers. Probably the boomers started, up Mgtow, and they said, "Hey, things are gone wrong." And I don't attach myself to the boomers. I attach myself to what is called Generation Jones. Generation Jones is that group right at the end of the boomers where a lot of brilliant men come from. It was also a demographic winter those years. Very few of us were born. It was right after we got into a Cold War with Russia, and right after the Cuban Missile Crisis. People stopped having children because they didn't want to bring children into a world such as this, I think. So it was a demographic winter. If you look at the charts, you'll see right around 60 to 64, there was drop off, just like we see now, a big drop off. And those guys went on, Bill Gates's, and they went out to do great things. The Wisniewskis, the Gates, the guys, the Bezoses, and all these guys that are a little bit older, and they're these great men in our society now that created the internet, telephones, their inspiration, gave you the world as it is right now, so you can do these things. That's what Generation Jones was probably the greatest generation of all, I thought. They pushed it. AT&T didn't want cell phones. Generation Joe said, "Fuck that. We're gonna push these cell phones through." Mama Bell wanted that market. We're gonna invent these things. We're gonna create these things. We're gonna take all the knowledge from the past and put this in and unify it and drive it forward and make a better tomorrow for our children. But with that, we at the same time came feminism along. It's like the no's of feminism, like, oh man, we want everything now, and we had to deal with that. We didn't know what feminism was going to bring. There was no way. As a young man in the 1980s, 24 years old, I had no idea. No one ever told me that this thing of feminism was going to come in and warp female minds. They didn't give me a course. There was no MRA course out there you could take to introduce you to what was going to happen to you and your family after you bought into this thing. It was sad, and we got blindsided. We got the rug pulled out from us, and we are the fathers of these children now that are the Mgtows and Mgtow 2.0s, and it's sad to look at it sometimes. And I know a lot of them hate us, and I know a lot. But what were we to do at this point? what was it, this thing that we were going to do when you get blindsided, or it's like a car run into you 140 miles an hour, and there's nothing you could do about it. And that's what happened to us. And we fought back. We did. We started men's organizations, from the Massapequa Carol to John Bly's Big John, and we started these things. And I was around during the movements, and tried to help as much as I could. Got punched in the face a few times at at meetings and stuff, when man up men would come around. And if we were protesting in front of a courthouse, it was total violence against us, which were allowed. um, but that was a different time in the 80s and the 90s. This thing called the internet came around, and that was a fascinating transitional period where we can voice ourselves. We had a voice, then the formats we're building, and all that stuff. We took to it like we 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 took to it like squirrels on nuts. I mean, it was our voice, and I thank God for those things. Nowadays, this social media, this what do they call that? Uh, the fifth, the media fifth that came around with social media, and it's a great thing. And kids grew up with it now, and the kids, young kids, social media is everything. It's where their friends are, and it's where they meet and talk and learn. And Google, yeah, you can Google things and actually learn from Google. I would be very hesitant on some of the things you read out there, but there are some experts, and there's a lot of opinion pieces on everything you're going to read. You have to be, you have to practice good discernment. That's a skill that Mgtows learn, practicing good discernment. What is it? What is it that's true? What is this that's false? Who's trying to lie to me? Because there's a million people out there that are trying to lie to you. Let me stop so and say, we the people, hello, and Soothie and Savage, and Portuguese Mgtow, hello, Portuguese Mgtow, doing a very good job over there. And Ogarn the Harbinger. I always love that name. Aware Rabbit, and everybody that's stopped around. And so I'm just talking like I would normally on a normal day with friends and everything, and I don't have a topic picked except for maybe the snarky. I had to put something in there, the snarky title. But yeah, I do. I only when I look at my analytics, I carry very, very few young men, and I ask myself, what is it? What is it I'm doing wrong? What is it? What is it that I'm saying that they don't want to hear? What is it? Maybe it's a lack of teaching. Maybe it's a lack of that mentorship thing. Maybe I'm just too snarky. I don't know. I often get when a few years ago, it started. Oh, you're just a dirty old man. Why don't you go away, Joe? We don't want to hear it. What we want to hear is the same old rhetoric. Being fed over and over and over. Yeah, I know women are horrible. Yeah, I know. I know their thoughts. I know this. I've heard all these stories a million times. I know that. I know that all. It's true. It's true. Acceptance. We all come to that point of acceptance where we've heard the millions and millions of stories, and the ones that more nail it and get to the heart of these things. And I know all the facets of Mgtow and everything, but what I do see is there is a split, and there is the 2.0 and the 1.0ers, and one of the things, the big complaints is from the 1.0er is, where was my dad? Where was my father? Why couldn't he be around? The parental alienation that was, I experienced parental alienation a lot when I was in them positions. It's hard to parental alienation because I still hear it. I didn't walk out on my life, on my family. I didn't walk out on them. I was forced out. There's a difference between being walking out and being forced out. Feminism and my wife forced me out of my family. I would have chose to stay. But with the kids nowadays, you often hear in Hollywood, you often hear like, my father abandoned us, he left. And what they're really saying is he wasn't willing to fight hard enough against the government, against the mother to be with them. How hard can you fight on those things? Well, I know how hard you can fight. I'll go to the door some Tuesday during that time and say, I want to see my kids. And the cops would show up. How hard can I fight? Can I go to jail? Would I have gone to jail? If I would have gone to jail, would it have been better? At a certain point, it becomes a futile thing to do. And I know what that's like for most of these. I can't imagine what I can't imagine, because I am empathetic and I have awareness. I know what it was like seeing their little faces at their bedroom windows, staring out when dad never comes in, wondering the question, why dad never came in. Why wasn't he? Why didn't he come get us? You know, and you know, I don't know what the answer to that is, but I know that was their question. The truth of the matter is the courts wouldn't let us, and the mothers wouldn't let us. And every time I went over, there was a $200 additional charge. She was a drug doer. The only way I can get the kids is if I paid $200 extra a weekend to see them, on top of the child support, on top of the other stuff, on top of the money that would have cost to keep them that weekend. That's what happens most of the time. You can see your kids, and I don't care what the court says, but boom, $200 at the door. And them are the unseen things. Them are the things that keep you from seeing your children. Them are the things that hush, hush, we won't talk about in the courts. And then you realize at a certain point that it's a futile attempt at fathering, and you weren't a father. And what he told you on that bench that day was, you are no longer the father. You are no longer needed. They got me, Uncle Sam, the thug authority. And don't worry about it. I'll take it straight from your check, and I'll be the father. And you don't even need it to come around. And in matter of fact, she'll make sure of that. And we won't talk about parental alienation. We won't talk about the horrible things that the children grow up in, and they think in their minds. And when I look at Mgtows, I see this. I see a lot of the young Mgtows going, my father never came around. Well, I'm sure he wanted to. I'm sure that was the last thing on his mind, to leave you there with the baby mama. And then the next thing they say is, my mother was horrible. Here's what you did. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Go on forever about, this is what I seen. Well, there's that little bug again. He seems to come around every time I start doing these. Yeah, a long list of grievances against a mother. But where was my father? Where was he? Well, he couldn't come around. The police were going to make sure of that. The courts were going to make sure of that. How willing was he to fight? Well, I'll bet you if he could have fought, he would have. Force in America is it's final. During those things, if I would have showed up to the door, I would have went to jail. She would have made up some false accusation, and boom, try to get out of jail. Them things cost money, and then they will back you up, and they will slow things down, and they will extract their money, what they think they are owed out of it. So I see the kids, and I see those things that are reflected in their speech. And in their articulation of Mgtow. Where were the fathers? Where was my dad? But then I noticed that in Mgtow and in very few of the young men want mentorship, through their actions at least. They don't want to hear our side of the story. And I'm sure our side of the story are those things that the horror stories, and the pain and the suffering, and all those things. I'm sure they don't want to hear that. And I'm sure that that often resembles a victim mentality. And cool, cool. But you can't have both sides of the thing. If you either you do believe that your father was a deadbeat dad and he never came around because he didn't want to see you, go ahead and spend that the rest of your life. Go with that the rest of your life. That's an easy out. That's the Hollywood version of it. Um, whether it's parental alienation, and was most fathers alienated, was forced out beyond their control? Yes, that's the truth of it. And I would say that would consume about 80% to 90% of fathers. Uh, um, what they really wanted was to, be around and watch your kids grow in whatever capacity that was, but they didn't want to be around in the capacity of being a slave. They didn't want to be around in the capacity of being a ATM at the doorstep. They didn't want to be around at the capacity of being the babysitter. That's not something any man would choose. Um, Plus the parental alienation. You hear the stories. Why did and my kids echoed it? Why did you leave us? And I said, I didn't leave you. I was forced out. Mom wanted to have a boyfriend. Mom found other. You can't tell them the truth. Mom found other cock. Hey, Mom found other cock. Hey, she thought that cock was more interesting than you, and she did. And she thought that cock was more interesting than anything. It was worth more than you. She would have Susan Smithed your ass if she could have. And that's what I really want to say. She would have Susan Smithed your ass if she could have gotten away with it. Because that's the way women are. They're awful. They're horrible people. They're evil. And that's the world we live in today. So, hey, I find ageism to be interesting in Mgtow. I find ageism to be what can we share with the young kids? I don't know. Why don't you ask some days? Why don't you talk about those things? Maybe we can come to an agreement on those things and what was real and what was what was coming out of her mouth. I'm sure that was 24-hour saturation, and that's hard to get over. Yes, she is. That's one of the biggest things. That's one of the hardest things to say. It's one of the things that I had to come to grip with when I came into Mgtow and everything. I had to say those words. What was my mom? Well, she was a hoe. She was everything. She was all those things. I could say all those things, but shh, you're not allowed to say that, Joe. You're breaking the religious rules. Yeah. Let me duck out here. I didn't grab a pack of cigarettes, and I like to smoke. I'll be right back. So let me put something in here. Tie up my long, beautiful golden hair. There I go. I'll tie up my long, beautiful golden hair, my locks of youthful golden hair. Yeah. So I guess the topic today is a good topic. It's parental alienation. I see it come out in Mgtow. Sorry about my shirt. I have my old grumpy shirt on today. It was my sleep shirt, so I kind of tried to cover it up, but it's getting a little hot in here. Parental alienation in Mgtow, and I see the split in Mgtow, and I see the generational split in Mgtow, and it bothers me. And I was wondering, wow, that's weird. That's more to the traditional. When you see those generational splits, that's what your slave master wants of you. They want the old men arguing with the young men. They want the men arguing with the women. They want the one worker arguing with the other worker. That's Davis's policy on slaves. You get them, you get every slave to think that the other slave is against them, and we see that a lot around here. Separate and divide tactics always work. Zelensky's separate and divide tactics. Split off into certain demographics and groups, and then you can't be around the other demographic and groups. I was thinking about the four sides of the Mgtow sign. That sign that we so beautifully constructed. It was so beautifully thought out. Going like go your own way. Go your own way. There's another way to do this. But there are four sides: MRAs and PUAs and monks and people going gulp. That's the four sides of the sign. Let me say it again: MRA and PUA and monks and people going gulp. That's the Mgtow. That's the encompassment of the manosphere. And then the Mgtow sign is the we're just going to go our own way. Let me stick my thumb out here and hitchhike off this planet if I could, like those dolphins and that, like, thanks for all the fish, but I'm out of here. Wish I could, but that's fantasy fiction land, and I can't leave this planet. I got to stay on here and deal with it every single day. But I see the separate and divide tactics and Mgtow, and kind of bothers me sometimes. I'm going through an existential crisis in my philosophy lately, and I'm moving to Camus and absurdism, and it's just great. It gives me a lot of thought about different ways to think about things, and that's wonderful. I'll do something I rarely don't do anymore. Is I'm going to paste the if you want to come in and talk in the low bar, well, in the actual thing there, and if you want to come in and talk on a Sunday morning with me, if you have some gripes. Once in a while I have to do this anyways. If there's some gripes from the community, or someone wants to come in and talk, someone wants to come in and just yell at me about some of my ideologies, this would be the time, because I rarely do this anymore, and I rarely care about what anybody else thinks. Or if you want to agree with me, or if you got a topic you want to talk about, come on in and talk about it. So do you like the new moon? I put a little circle in there of light, and I thought, well, that's cool. I put the little circle of light in there. Everything I do has some meaning to it somehow, to the circle of light. Mgtow. Mgtow is like the circle of light. Something somewhere men can go and always see it. It's like a lighthouse, a beacon. It's like, hey, we're here. When you get done with that garbage, we'll be here for you. That's what I tell a lot of men. Tell a lot of guys, like Yobi Obes. Yobi Obes is funny. Yobi Obes. Now, if he does happen to come upon this, he was trying to give the look the other day, the intent look. But it was with no commitment, and you could use props for the intent look. You put and you go. You have to have commitment to those things. So I started laughing at him. I was like, Yobi, that was a childish attempt at alien. It was like a childish alienation mixed in with futility. You have to be committed when you do the look. You have to be committed when you do the anger. So he needs an acting class. I don't know. He needs something. He needs a different outlook. But yeah. In the beginning, the four sides of the Mgtow sign we were talking about. There were four sides of this thing. And like I said, there was the MRA, there was PUA, and there was the monks, which we call them now, and then there's going gulp. That's the four sides of the sign. That makes up the total of Mgtow. And no matter how much the POAs might bother us, they have a purpose. And that purpose is to get out there and not adhere to the what we never talk about with the POAs, and it's their job. Their job is to what most people would call amorous or polyamorous existentialism. And polyamorous existentialism is that free spirit, and talking about that free spirit of sexuality. And I'm not gonna listen to these religious people. I'm not gonna listen to my father's rules on that. I'm not gonna listen to what my mother says about those things. Polyamorous existentialism is what they're practicing, and they're doing it purposely. And they're doing it purposely to rub against a grain of culture that's been embedded into us. This, so that's POA's job, and then I don't think they understand. And I think I think all in all, PUA has become very immature, and it's like they're fell for the trappings of PUA, and it was never about the trappings of PUA. It was about a new culture. It was about a new way of thinking about things. And like I said, that polyamorous existentialism. I don't know if I could ever explain that. I don't know if I could ever explain that to those guys now, because most of them seem dense to me. I do know when you start doing those things, you lose 20% of your IQ. So I can say, well, maybe I can never understand. But I've thought when they went into that side of the Mgtow that they would understand. So they broke off, and they started their new group, this PUA, trying trying to what they were really trying to do is proselyte the incels and the TFLs, and proselyte, and they become arrogant about their job here in the manosphere. They become arrogant about their job in the manosphere, and the trappings was not why they were here anymore. And those trappings were was the hedonism part of it, and it kind of defies existentialism when you start looking at hedonism in that way. So that went all to hell, and the MRAs lost path, and they lost what they were doing, and the going Galters became survivalists. And like I talked about the other day, they forgot about the ghosting. They forgot about their job, what they were supposed to be doing. You were supposed to be that effigy, that thing that people see, and they go, oh, you're like, I'm a Mgtow. You can't touch me, you can't feel me, you can't come around me, you can't be, you're just going to see the ghost of what was used to be there. The ghost of what was in society was, I'm no longer a useful man for you. I'll be the useful man for me. And that's what going Galt side is. And the monks, remove everything from don't let them take anything, remove the marriage, and we'll walk away. We'll go ghost in our own way. We'll do our own things. We will never, ever speak to another woman in our life. And all these sides had this great union amongst them, where they all understood their specific jobs in this. Did you, Joey? I was just reading the comment. Yeah, Mgtow used to understand that it it's a lot of different groups here in Mgtow, and we all have certain jobs, and a certain job is to assist the ultimate, assist the ultimate, the Mgtow, and 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 as long as you did your job, man, this thing started growing at a phenomenal rate. I remember at the end when there was this Mgtow, and everybody was arguing about what it was and what kind of congealed the whole thing. It wasn't the PUAs, and it wasn't the monk attitudes, and it wasn't the MRAs screaming at us to hush down and everything. It was the going galt. Going galt put the emphasis on it. The going ghost, ghosting, and just doing your own thing. That put the emphasis on it. And Mgtow started growing after that, growing exponentially at a rate that was phenomenal. It was phenomenal at the first. There was like so little, so few of us. And you couldn't tell who was who. The stronger, more verbal, and the ones that like to articulate that how horrible it was considered Mgtow. We were just much more verbal than the rest of them. The other ones, the MRAs, were like, tone it down, tone it down. You got to be nice about this thing. We have to play politics. No, we don't. You got to be in a mood for such a movie. Yeah. Which movie? Oh, a Spencer Tracy was. Oh, Bud Spencer. I thought you watched a Spencer Tracy movie. I kind of read that wrong. In Terrence Hill, Western, old Western. My son loves these old Westerns. Even as a child, I would wake up and to get up in the morning. I woke up at 2:00 in the morning. I worked third shift and 16 hours a day. So I'd wake up, and that would be my boy. He'd have some pretzels or some potato chips sitting in front of the movie, because back then they had the late night Western thing on, and he'd get up and he'd watch all the Westerns. He just loved Westerns. He loved infomercials too. I don't know what it was, him and infomercials, but he loved watching the infomercials on the cable and the Westerns. And then I'd sit with him for a while and just watch a Western with him every morning. And it was one of those things that was nice. And that was my middle son, and he just loves Westerns. It was great. One of the things I think about, one of the joys in life. Yeah, Westerns are great. And men being men, shooting shit, punching things. Yeah, that's great. But today we are topicless, and if you have a topic that's on your mind and you want to discuss something, just wing it by me, or I put the thing in there. You can come on in. Don't be afraid. I'm not that evil. I am not that bad. Most people don't come in. None of my detractors ever come in. They don't want to have that discussion. But if you are somebody that just wants to share, that's fine. We were talking, I guess the topic kind of generated into ageism and Mgtow, different gens. We seem to have 3 different gens in here now. We have Gen Z, Gen X, Gen Jones, and I don't think there's too many baby boomers left. They would be well aged, well aged. And you rarely see. I drop off after 65 too. I have a very slim amount of people 65 to 72 that watch me. Very slim amount of people 17 to 25 that watch me. And I thought that was the weird part, because that's most of my viewers end up between 34 and up very slim 25 to 34, and then most of my viewers were 34 to 45, and then 50 up to 55. And I was like, wow, that's kind of weird. Guess like me. So that seemed weird to me, and I think there's things. I think as you get the young guys in here, there's a lack of understanding, and Mgtow becomes whatever they want, and then they can take it wherever they want with it. But it's not like I found a new lighter. That's great. They can do what they want, and I think logic will predict that during their path they will stumble upon what all the Mgtows before them said, and they'll go, "Oh, I get that now. I get that now." Oh, yeah. We don't know the internet. That's funny. Hello, Al. Hello, Joey. Hello, all the people. If anybody's watching, I don't know. I can't see how many people are watching, and I am late today. In case you missed it, go your own way, Mgtow. Go your own way. All your Simpsons of the past are forgiven, and there's a new world, new horizons in Mgtow. Nothing we can't do in Mgtow. I don't think there's nothing we can't do if we put our minds to it. If we wanted to do anything, we could put our minds to it. All we have to do is get rid of the tournamenting. Tournamenting, the male tournamenting seems to be the only thing in Mgtow that we can never crush. That's so deeply inbred in us through the competition. The competition, and that competition gets all, there's no good sportsmanship. And I think that's where it is. There's no good sportsmanship in the competition anymore. You have to crush my enemies and drive them under my feet. like, like Conan. Conan was a representation of Kokuhanen, if you didn't know that. I think they get that wrong. Kokuhanen was a Irish fable from pre-2nd century Ireland. The Book of Byrne, a matter of fact. If you ever get a chance to read from the Book of Byrne, most people don't. There's courses talk about the pre-2nd century in Ireland, but you'd have to go to Ireland to take that course. I was a poor part of John on Friday, and the table said woman-owned companies. Oh, you were at the Port of John on Friday? Woman-owned company. Yeah, that's a lot of things. I see a lot of those out there. I hate Health and Human Services. That's one of their programs. They mostly restaurants and things that women can do in that capacity. They get 3 or 4 of the women on Health and Human Services that are applied to the benefits of health, and it's like 3, 4, 5 baby mamas together, and then they get them thinking in a corporate sense, and then they give them the loans, because loans, most of the small business loans go through that, and they have to adhere to the social justice of America now. So if you're giving loans to female-owned businesses, you can pat yourself on the back and go, wow. But they've hijacked the Small Business Administration is what they did to do that. And so you look out at the vast amount of restaurants that are owned by single restaurants that are owned by women now, and it's like, wow, that's your health, and your tax dollar is at work. And with all that stuff, there's always a sort of a gifting. There's a gifting that goes along with that, that removes the difficulties and the barriers of actually having to ascertain that money on your own to start a business. When I started my businesses, there was no help from the government most of the time, and if I did get a small loan, it was a very small loan, and it was for benches or whatever I needed to buy, equipment or something, and most of the time I had to do it all by myself, and there was no assistance. So that takes away that part of the learning how to do that. And I think that's the most important part of learning how to be a business person in this world. Because we all know your first business is probably going to fail. Your second may fail. You may hit it on one, and then your third will fail, and then modernity hits and changes hits, and then you're not selling aluminum siding anymore when there's plastic siding. Boy, I didn't see that coming. Stuff like that. Everything changes. There's a entropy in this world, and there's change and chaos in this world. It gets you used to restarting or picking something else to do. And it's a choice then. What's the next newest thing that people want that you can sell them? That's true with businesses and restaurants too. Yesterday's chicken wings or today's tamales. What do people want to eat? What's the new fad? What's the newest, coolest thing? If you're not keeping up, your business is going to suffer. That's with food and everything in this world. If you're not keeping up, you're going to suffer. Every internet entrepreneur knows that. What is it that everyone's searching for that next best thing? What's the next newest spinner? Wish I would have got in on selling spinners. Didn't see that coming. I mean, didn't see Borders coming, didn't see Amazon. A lot of things you have to have that intuitive sense of what's the next best thing. Most of us men will die with that horrible thought is like, man, I didn't see what was the next aluminum siding? What was the next new guttering system? What was the next interlappable wood that I could have sold many of these things, and put them together for people? What was that next thing? Missed out on it because I just didn't see it coming. But that's an important lesson in life, how to transition. Even you didn't see it coming. Once you see it, you got to transition, or else you're not going to make no money. And I think that part is learning how to do it is what they fail to teach women in these situations, these women-owned businesses where they just dump a bunch of money on them and go get it, go do it. And they go do what? They have no idea what to do. They start, I'll start a cupcake, a cupcake house. Everybody loves cupcakes. And then it fails and they wonder why. The gluten-free store, the left-handed, that was and the Simpsons, it was the left-handed store. He didn't know what they're really saying. Is he had no idea what a good business would be. So he started a left-handed store, which is really a stupid idea. We laugh at that once in a while. It's like, yeah, we're just going to sell paper. That would be the worst, like paper, like the paper store. Come and get your paper here. What should official monks? What should be the official monk slap? The official monk slap. You can't put your thumb on the official monk slap because it's so fast. You can't see a monk slap. It's like boom, 0.04 seconds, and then the monk slap is done, and the recipient of the monk slap is going, "What the hell just happened?" He doesn't even know what happened. That's the monk slap. Yeah, the official version of the monk slap. In slow-mo, it would be like and then the head jerks over to the side. Just watch this scene after the stream. Yeah. Yeah, the official version of the monk slap is undefined. It's just really fast. That's all we know. It almost defies logic. Thanks for that question, Joey. That's funny. So hello, everybody. Hello on this Sunday afternoon. And if you didn't miss it, come get your blessings. Go your own way. Go your own way, Mgtows. All your Simpsons are forgiven from the past once you step into the Mgtow. Becomes a whole new world, a whole new horizon. I often like to talk about the horizon. Now that you know that, what do you do with it? What do you do with the Mgtow? There's a whole new horizon outside the city, outside that mess of whatever these people are doing, where you look out and there's mountains, climb a mountain. I gotta traverse a valley, them things. I'm going to traverse a canyon. I'm going to get to that other side, find out what it is on that other side that I've been missing. And that's why I named myself what I did, Traversable. Help out, go find out your dreams, Mgtow. It doesn't hinge on having a woman around. Them dreams, they don't hinge on having a female partner. It doesn't hinge on validation. It hinges on you. And that's the important thing. How about how you think about things? What do you want? What do you want out of this thing, Mgtow? No one ever asked you. I'm asking you, what do you want out of this thing? Me, I just want to be a humble servant of Mgtow and everything to be easy. Everything's too hard. All my life, everything was too hard. It took so much monumental effort to bust through on anything I was doing. I just want it to be easy now, easy peasy. Mgtow can be easy peasy too. You just make everything easy peasy, you know? It's like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. That would involve too much effort. And I know where that effort sometimes takes me down a long losing road of, uh, of doubling down on stupid, no, I don't go down the roads of absurdity anymore. That's why I do absurdity now because I'm just not buying into it anymore. Most of what I hear in the societies utter out of like dribble out of like just kind of leak out of people's mouths. I was just, man, that's absurdity. I was listening to some sporting events today. Some people talking. I can't remember what they were talking about. Sundays I like to buff up on my Cleveland Browns and ESPN and just go cruising around the internet full speed and read all the articles and see what's up in the sports world. And even in that, I was like listening to that and thinking, geez, you guys are so absurd. Do you really believe that? Oh, I guess they were talking about LeBron James. And I was like, yeah, he's getting old. We know that. It's like making those excuses or making it into making LeBron James into a sideshow now would be like like do you really need to make him into a sideshow? But yeah, they'll try to the media will try to suck every dime out of that before we don't have a LeBron James anymore. And who will be the next chosen one? Who will be the next king? Will it be the Zion? I don't know. We'll see. Who will be the next Charles Barkley, LeBron James, Michael Jordan? That's always interesting and that's always fun to watch. But what they really need to do is find a guy with extreme talent. And that's the hard part. Every year in the every year when I watch the draft, I always see 10 teams, at least 10 teams searching for Lawrence Taylor. The quest for to find the next Lawrence Taylor, that guy that was, I don't no matter Lawrence Taylor, the guy that you can put on any team as a defensive player, and he makes that team 5-game winning better, if not 6 or 7. That's Lawrence Taylor. Everybody's in search of the next Lawrence Taylor. It's funny to watch, and men do that too. Men do that. Who's the next Neo? We do that in Mgtow. We do who's the next Neo? What's that next Barbarossa that's going to come around? When is Neo going to come here again? Is Neo dead? Do we get one Neo in every 100 years? Who's that next Angry Harry? Yeah, there was a guy named Angry Harry. He was the first Neo. Who was after that? Man, woman, myth. The Thugtician was Neo. Barbarossa, Stardust was Neo. Where's that next Neo coming from? An original idea, the original thought, the way they projected themselves, the way they talked, that excitement. He's saying everything that I think he's right, and he's saying everything I was thinking. Where's the next Neo coming from? It's like an NFL team searching for the next Lawrence Taylor, the next Joey Bosa, the next Kirby Puckett in baseball. Man, if I could just find Kirby Puckett out there, The next Michael Jordan or LeBron James. You don't know where they're coming from. I guess we in Cleveland, we knew LeBron James when we looked at him. He lived in, and we started supporting him at a very young age. Like, this dude's awesome. He's different. There's something different about him. And the fans, even at 10, 12 years old, like, Jesus, he was dunking a basketball. I don't know if it was 12, maybe 14 to 15. He started seeing he pulled away from the rest of the kids. But yeah, there's hey, Ref, Neo is within, Trav. There is no Mgtow Messiah. Yeah, there are Mgtow Messiahs, I think. There's the guys that are just a little bit better at it, a little bit more verbal, a little bit more articulate. That's what we do. And I mean, we do it in everything in life. Business, where's the next Bill Gates coming from? Who's that next Wisniewski? Who's that next hero? The next who's that next guy? Who's going to bring us the next Amazon? Who's the next Jeff Bezos? We do this all with everything in life. People do this. It's a natural thing to do, wanting that larger than life figure to pop up out of the woodwork, like the gods just sent him. He didn't even have to be born. He was just made. He just popped on the scene at like 16 years old, all fully developed with Baker Mayfield like facial fur. I know. And then all of a sudden he's here in this world and he's doing something great. I think that's what we look for in Mgtows, the young Mgtows. If I could give any advice in life, that's what I would say. Be the next Baker Mayfield. Be the next LeBron James. If you climb mountains the best. I don't care what you do. If you ride the bike the best you can ride that bike. If you throw a frisbee, you're really good at throwing a frisbee. Be the best frisbee thrower out there. Get dogs and throw 10 frisbees at once while spinning too. That's an art that's gone. I used to do that when I was younger. I had a dog and frisbees, and he used to catch them. I was good at it too. I could have been a contender. In the hippie world, we had frisbee throwing. That was it. You're the best. Be the best frisbee thrower. Be that. If you're a Mgtow and you do anything, do it the best. If you're a Mgtow producer, try to make your product the best product. You don't have to compete with other men to be the best. It's about little. There's not a lot about competition. If you're the best, you're just the best. And if you're a Mgtow producer, strive to be the best you can be. If that's what you want to be the best Mgtow producer you can be. Give it 100%. That's no man would expect less out of you. And that's the advice I give every man. I mean, if you want to build, bow and arrows, build the best bow and arrow. I took a bow and arrow building course. It was great. I loved it. I'm just going to go down into the woods one day and just get myself a stick and build a bow and arrow out of it. But it's a lot more than that. You got to cut a tree and get a piece of tree. I feel I'm the best. What are you the best at, Capone? You're the best Capone there is. Silent Sage, you're the best Silent Sage there is. And James Gregory, you're the best. You're the best at whatever it is you do. And that's what Mgtow is about. Be the best. You are. I believe it. I think that's people misinterpret that for the male ego for a narcissism. That's all I'm saying. If I was going to be the electrician again or the millwright again, I'd be the best damn millwright I could be. They'd be calling me all over the world to do my millwright stuff. And I believe that. I'd be the best electrician, you know. Like GE would call me for advice. Yeah, you could do that with everything in this world. Just be the best. That's what Mgtow gives you. It gives you the time, takes all that crazy out of it, gives you passion, gives you your masculinity back. It gives you that ego back. It's like, man, I'm a pizza maker. I'm going to be the best pizza maker on this planet because I'm a Mgtow. Yeah, if you build buildings, be the best building builder. If you build models, be the best model builder. Yeah, I got 12 downvotes. Can you believe that? I got 12 downvotes. There's that old ageism. Yeah, the young guys, they don't like to hear about the young guys. They don't like to hear them good, honest. They don't want mentors. They don't want fathers, and that's why I say I'm not a father. How could I be a father? How could I have ever been? Do it yourselves. You a debt collector? None can collect debts like me. That's good. Yes, Mgtow gives you the space and time to be the best. Yes, James Gregory. Yes, it does, and I like that about Mgtow. It gives you the thing you need the most. It gives you the time. It's not wasteful. Nothing about Mgtow is wasteful. We don't waste any moments of the day anymore. We don't waste any of us. It gives you that inspiration you needed in a world that just wants to beat us down and make us feel like man, a marriage is all there is, and I need a second me, a second partner, because I can't make it on my own. That's what they want people to think. No, Mgtow gives you everything that you need and a little bit more. I could do this. I don't need nobody. I'm the best damn I'm the best damn bike rider there is out in this world. When I do a wheelie, people applaud. I could do a half-mile wheelie all the way home from the grocery store on my bike, one-handed. Like, woo. Oh, man. But that's the attitude you got to take it in the world, in this world at least. It's competition 100%. But like I said, competition doesn't rely on other people. You just do what you do. Where you land is where you land, and then there's acceptance. Maybe I wasn't a good bartender. Won't try that one again. I'm not like that guy flipping those, pouring those drinks and, just woo, you know. I'm not a good bartender. There's things I don't do good in this world. Identifying those things are good too. The things I don't do good. Man, I can't dance. My rapping skills are a little short. Never been able to dunk a basketball. uh, yeah, never been able to do that. I see that a lot with the schools sort of teach kids if you have a barrier. If you have a barrier, just go full blast into that, and then just if they say you can't, you just believe you can, and that's bullshit. That's absurdity there. If you can't dunk a basketball, and you'll never be able to dunk a basketball, why try to become a basketball player? Maybe it's fun. Maybe I could do that on a weekend, just trying to dunk that basketball all weekend. But no, I'm not going to spend no time on that. But the new educational system, they give kids them freaky ideas, girls, you're going to be mathematicians, get into that tech world. And it doesn't matter if you can't do it, just have confidence. And then it fails. It's like, what happened there? But that's the special boy mentality in this world. It's like all kids get to play. Send little Johnny. He's got one little short arm and one short leg, and you're going to be a shortstop, little Johnny, on a baseball team someday, and nobody can take that dream away from you. You're setting them up for failure. And that's what the education system does now. It sets a lot of kids up for disappointment and failure. And that's purposeful because it beats them down. And they believe that, oh, yeah, I'll just get in. I'll get in with the sheeple. I failed at dunking the basketball. I'll get in with the sheeple and just get married. Go through a divorce. Go through 3 of those. Have 6 kids and die unhappy. While Uncle Sam's tapping me for every dime I ever made. Works out quite good for them, but it doesn't work out for you. And then you scream out at your death, I could have dunked that basketball. No, you couldn't have. You just thought you could. They lied to you. Find out what you could have done. What was that best thing you do in this world? And that's what you really need to work on. That's what Mgtows tell you. Work on that thing that is truly you. Now, I don't care if that's scrapping cans. If you're the best damn scrap can maker and picker-upper, you can build that into a business. I watched Harry Rock, the great Harry Rock. I don't know if you guys know the story of Harry Rock. Harry Rock was a black man during the 50s and 40s. They used to have a buggy and he'd collect scrap, and then he saved his money and got a bigger truck and a bigger truck, and then he bought 2 big trucks, and he bought 10 big trucks, and he went around from company to company emptying the roll-offs, and he bought 1,000 roll-offs. And from that little scrap cart that he used to throw beer cans in and shit. And then he bought 10 million roll-offs, and he collects scrap from New York to Chicago. And he's got 1,000 trucks now, and he's a billionaire. That's being the best you can be. Everybody would laugh at him. Look, Harry's just collecting cans. He's a bum. No. That guy turns me on when they tell his story. That guy makes me think I could be anything in this world. Look at Apple Computer, 4 guys in a garage. They probably everybody in the neighborhood like, look at those dorks in that garage. Look at those boys. Man, they don't want to do what we're doing. They're just sitting in that garage doing that stupid stuff. That's what they told them. Yeah. They were the best they can be. Just like anybody. Any Mgtow, any man. Don't let them beat you down, tell you you're not the best. If you're sitting in your garage working on a computer right now, be the best you can be. Innovate that shit. Put a new spin on it. What's the next thing to come along? Think about that. What's that next big, beautiful tech item that everybody's going to want? A visual screen, virtual screens, like in the movies. I don't know. We'll never know until some geek in some garage assumes that he's the best at that he can possibly be and pushes it through and doesn't listen to all that negative talk. and didn't believe he was the best basketball dunker because some teacher and, you're 5'4", Jimmy, you can do it. You can dunk that basketball. That teacher needs to be smacked in the head. Monk slap, 1.4 seconds. You're telling that kid that he can dunk a basketball and he should pursue that in life? Are you retarded? Maybe Jimmy not built for that. Maybe he has something different that he does. Find that, what he does well. Not tell him he's going to be a shortstop with one little arm because it makes everybody else feel better. Yeah, we live in a special world with special boys and special girls, and everybody's so special, especially working on something that they never should have been, and they never figured out what they should have did in this world. And that's the question that's going to be with them for the rest of their life. What was I? And Mgtow cures that. I will not go to my grave not knowing who I was, because that's why all those old people are in those hospice homes right now screaming out that question. Someone lied to me. I never knew myself before I died. I know what I'm best at. Yes, it's being pretty. I know you were thinking that. Yes, prettiness. Oh. So, this is my topicless chat today. I feel like a dirty old Mgtow talking about topicless stuff. I went topicless. Yes, I did. I'm a dirty old Mgtow. I got 13 downvotes now. So I think I pushed a few buttons earlier with the Millennial 2.0ers. They didn't want to hear that, I don't think. They hate me. There's ageism in Mgtow. They hate me. What do they hate? They really hate their mom for telling them that they should hate their dad, and they can't get off that. They can't get off or by that. Go find your dad. He's probably a pretty good dude and he ain't nothing like your mom said. And quit doing that ageism here, because it severs us and it splits us. And it's how you destroy a group, not how you build a group. Grow up. That's probably what your dad would tell you. By the way, be the best you can be, and I'll support that. But when I see people being the worst people they can be, that casual cruelty, that stupidity, harboring old pains and old wounds, throw that shit away. All that shit goes in the dumpster of life, and you start that shit on fire, and you start a dumpster fire with all that garbage. Not here in Mgtow. Do you like my new moon? Right there. I like that. I like that. I'm gonna keep it like that. I'm gonna keep it like that for a while. I was gonna add a few lights over here too, like right behind that. I got some new colored lights I was gonna put behind that. We'll see how that goes. It's a work in process. And I gotta get a new battery for my Mgtow sign. It's depleted. I was gonna order Amazon batteries this week, but and I probably should. I was looking for a better deal around at Kmart and the bulk store, but they didn't have a better deals. Nobody has better deals than Amazon. Batteries, at least. Divide and conquer. Yeah, that's what they're doing to us. Divide and conquer. You know, it'd be great if we had a groups dynamics guy in Mgtow and he could explain all this stuff. I wonder who that would be. A guy that went to college for group dynamics. I did. What we need is a new young neo group dynamics guy that can pull Mgtow back together and show them all their foolishness and all their absurdity so we can start doing what Mgtow does the best. Showing the world how absurd they are. That's what we do the best. We show the religious and the marriage people how absurd that is. That's absurdity, we say. We scream. Each and every one of us do that. But if we let them separate and divide us, they've won. They've won. And you can see in my downvotes today that either it was being topicless, which I don't think that was it, or it was grumpy old. Yeah, it was the topic, the parental alienation topic. Maybe that's what hit him on the chin, the red pill that hit him on the chin. They didn't like it. Oh, men. So that's all I got to say today. I'm pretty much I'm out of words. I have a headache, and I don't know what to do about it. It's going on a month, and it makes me irritable. And I'm thinking it's just winter. It's bleak. It's painful some days, and I want it to stop. I'm gonna take care of that for you, Mgtows, because I'm gonna bring on spring. I'm gonna will it into existence. I'm gonna climb that ladder and go punch the sun in its eye because I'm a Mgtow. And that's what's demanded from us. Be the best you can be. I might have to swim down the Ohio to the Mississippi, swim down the Mississippi, grab hold of the wind stream and fix it. Just grab it and just shake it back into shape. Come on, summer. And monk slap it back into a better pattern, a better weather pattern. Spring's just around the corner, and I know someday that sun will peek its face through in Ohio, and it gets pretty depressing for the Northerners. But you can fix that too, Mgtow, and just try to have a great attitude about things and be the best Mgtow you can be. And don't let anybody tell you that you can do something you can't, or you can't do something you can. That's absurdity, and that's what they want this world to be. They want it to be as absurd as possible. That way they have good followers and good slaves. Don't be a good follower and don't be a good slave. If you're a good follower, that's not the thing you should be doing. If you're the best follower, don't be the best follower. I'm going to tell you that one. Don't be the best slave, because that's what they want. That's what they're telling little Johnny with the one little arm thing. Go try to be that shortstop. No, that'll just lead you down to being the best slave you can be. And what is it that you do? That's up to you, Mgtow. I can't tell you that. I can't tell you what that thing is you do. You have to find that out for yourself, and that'll take you wandering out to that garage or reading a book, thinking, take that deep introspection down into your soul while you're there, patch up all those, plaster up all those holes that they punched in you. Take a look at that room and fill it with the best you can be. And then you can be a Mgtow. And that's my message, and that's all I got to say. And I hope you're all doing well. Forrest and Taryn and Ogan and Savage and Alone Capone. The best debt collector there is in the world is Alone Capone. If you need a debt collector, go get a loan. James Gregory. Thanks for all for coming by. Riff Mangos. Riff's the best guitar player in the world. If you ever heard him, you would cry. He is. Aware Rabbit. Thanks for coming around. Like always, most of the time, Mgtow's up to you. And just thanks for being a Mgtow. Mgtow. See ya.